Fresh off a heartbreaking loss to Oregon, Penn State pools together their collective tears and uses them to float a paddle boat all the way to Sodom and Gomorrah, where they will take on the 2027 FCS National Champion runner-up, the UCLA Our Season is in Ruins Bruins. Now I hear you asking, why would I insult UCLA fans by referring to their home as Sodom and Gomorrah? And to that I would respond with, what fans? UCLA will start the game with the ball as running back Javion Thomas tries the unique tactic of running around the defense rather than right into them. Maybe that was their problem all along. UCLA marches right down to the Penn State 11 where Quasi Gilmer will make like a slinky and stretch for the end zone, giving UCLA, I kid you not, their first lead of the season. It's been a tough year for the Bruins, and my heart goes out to both of their fans. Now, I think this is where UCLA attempted an onside kick, but you wouldn't know it just by watching any of the highlight videos because CBS didn't include it in the highlight videos. So, journalism malpractice is alive and well. UCLA will march right down the field again, this time settling for a field goal. Well, that sure was fun for UCLA, but when does the game start? UCLA decides to give Penn State a turn with the ball just to get them to stop crying. Now things start off a bit shaky as Penn State decides to play an impromptu game of hot potato. But instead of losing said potato, Katron Allen decides to make himself a stuffed baked potato supreme complete with bacon bits, Colby Jack cheese, and a touchdown. The Penn State offense will celebrate by doing their best Robert Oppenheimer impression, but instead of dropping A-bombs, they're dropping F-bombs. You didn't realize you were getting highbrow comedy in this video, did ya? Penn State fans, and UCLA fans for that matter, are all under the impression that the floodgates are about to open for the Nittany Lions. That is, until UCLA quarterback Nico Iamaleava decides to improve his transfer portal stock and scrambles on 3rd and 15 for a first down. A few plays later, and all of a sudden, UCLA has some college football fans Googling James Franklin's buyout. Not Penn State fans, though. They're known for having a lot of faith in James Franklin. Not even 5 minutes later, and UCLA will put the exclamation point on this incredible 24-7 victory over Penn State. Wait, there's another half? Now, no matter what happens at this point, do not misunderstand me. This sucks. The only thing keeping Penn State fans from viciously ripping their hair follicles from their scalp are the 30 minutes they have to potentially make a comeback.
Fires complete. It's a first down. The ball is out. That is covered by the Bruins.
Never mind. Penn State will eventually remember that their job is to make it look like James Franklin knows what he's doing. So Drew LR will throw a pass to Khalil Dinkins, who takes it 40 yards and walks into the end zone for the touchdown, but then immediately gets flagged for an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. I have no idea what this celebration is supposed to be, but flagging this is about as soft as the Ohio State brand of toilet paper. But, as with everything in life, two things can be true at once. One, this is a dumb thing to get a penalty for. Two, it's also pretty dumb to be celebrating literally anything at this point while you're currently losing by 2 scores to a team that is winless, coachless, and has no discernible reason for why their program shouldn't be nuked from orbit. Now I'm going to fast forward to about 4 minutes and 16 seconds left in the fourth quarter because UCLA and Penn State will score so much that ChatGPT ran out of similes to compare them to. Drew LR... Wait, this is the first time I've said his name all video. Anyway, he'll drop back to pass and Kyron Hudson will make the catch for a touchdown, and suddenly this game is getting interesting. But here's the thing though, it shouldn't be interesting. On their subsequent possession, UCLA will go for it on 4th and 1 on their own 35, which makes sense, I guess. But Penn State shuts that down faster than a feminist when her boyfriend asks if he can see his friends. That brings us to the 41-second mark of the fourth quarter. Penn State has the ball on UCLA's 9-yard line, and it's 4th and 2. At this point in this drive, Penn State has just as many yards and penalties as they do running the football. Now, as football connoisseurs with IQs higher than your average beer-swelling armchair quarterback, we'd all reasonably expect Penn State to, throw the ball. What do they do instead? Drew LR YOLOs himself face first into the turf. James Franklin's buyout is $56 million, by the way. As if this weren't insulting enough for the Penn State faithful, on the following drive, UCLA's punter will literally just stand in his own end zone killing time, while Penn State does their best mall security guard impression, watching helplessly as UCLA smash and grabs the last remaining seconds from James Franklin's career. And that's basically it. UCLA upsets Penn State. It was the first time in 40 years that an 0-4 team upset an AP Top 10 team, and just the 5th time in the history of ever. This wasn't just a loss, this was a self-implosion of biblical proportions. James Franklin has likely killed off whatever was left of the cold dead corpse that was his fan goodwill. The only thing that would make this season a true James Franklin special is going to Columbus and beating Ohio State just to lose to Indiana and then Clemson in the Outback Bowl. I don't know what James Franklin's future at Penn State looks like, but I can tell you one thing. Hell knows no fury like a college football fan who is, upset with their coach. I'm pretty sure that's how the saying goes.